Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Brent Parton. I'm the president and CEO of CareerWise. There's, I believe, more than 300 people, possibly 400 on this call today. And first and foremost, I want to wish everybody a happy end to National Apprenticeship Week. And thank you for joining us today to be a part of that end to what is always an exciting week around the country for the national movement on expanding apprenticeships and celebrating apprenticeships. I should be very clear about that. There is representation on this call from folks all across the apprenticeship and workforce and education ecosystem. We have state workforce and labor leaders. We have employers, joint training program partners, educators, nonprofits, CBOs, intermediaries, philanthropy, and most importantly, in this moment, a number of young people who have been a big part of how this work is lived and impacts people across our communities every day. The present company we are keeping here on this call is really just who I want to celebrate first and foremost. So many of you have been deeply involved over the years to expand access to apprenticeship opportunities for young people, whether that's through youth apprenticeship programs directly connected to our high schools, pre-apprenticeship pathways that serve out-of-school youth that CBOs and intermediaries lead, and pre-apprenticeships built right into our career tech ed programs across the country. This is a Big Ten activity across the nation, and in recent years, it has been so critical for creating the foundation for the exciting and important goal and push to get to 1 million apprentices across the country. Now is the time, I believe, to really leverage that activity and take it to the next level, to push for this always big question of scale and that drive to 1 million. So I'm thrilled today to announce another chapter in this important work. I want to recognize that somewhere today, I'm hoping that 1 millionth apprentice in America is somewhere in middle school, possibly listening in, or maybe their teacher. And it's really incumbent on us to really build the ecosystem that ensures they have a clear, rigorous, and direct pathway to enter into what is a life-changing experience of registered apprenticeship. CareerWise and myself could not be more happy to be a part of a broad base of partners, with huge thanks to the leadership at the U.S. Department of Labor for really supporting and launching the next phase of this movement to create access for more young people into our apprenticeship system. The time is really now. Let's be clear, apprenticeships and our workforce need our young people. There's robust available opportunities in the trades, in healthcare, in a growing manufacturing and defense industrial base, the rebuilding of our energy infrastructure, and a new AI infrastructure that will help the country compete and succeed and grow for decades to come. At the same time, I want to acknowledge that young people in America need apprenticeships. The forces that are facing this generation are real. How they are able to access affordable pathways and into not just that next step in their life and post-secondary learning, but into the workforce, into building a family, to being a part of their communities. Apprenticeship is a core element of how they do this. At the same time, our young people who have been rocked by a lot of changes around technology, a pandemic behind them, the anxiety, the ability to connect with and create identity through apprenticeships, to have access to mentors, to build work experience is fundamental to their future. And most importantly, right now, our economy is changing. Technology, the pace of it through artificial intelligence is reshaping industries and the entry level paths within it. Entry level jobs aren't going away, but they certainly are changing. And apprenticeship is really a proven model that is built for this moment. I deeply believe, on behalf of all of our partners, that together we can really build a launchpad decade for all those young Americans out there from ages 16 to 26 to put them in the right path to good earnings, relevant post-secondary credentials, and most importantly, the work experience they need to build, understand, and navigate their futures. We've got to get this right for our young people. Our country's economy demands it. Our growing industry sectors demand it. And right now is the opportunity to work together to make it happen. I believe that this is a moment to continue to the movement to scale our apprenticeships, and the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center that we'll talk more about today is a critical cornerstone of how we get that done. I want to just be very clear that none of this has been built overnight. Across the country, many of you have been a part of building the programs, building the pilots, building the evidence that apprenticeship works to transform the economic trajectories for our young people. We have to double down on those efforts. And the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center is about supporting the work that's out there while pushing to new frontiers and achieving strategies for scale. How we mobilize sectors and really leverage a lot of the new funding and incentives that are on the street in states and at the national level to support apprenticeship expansion. How that energy around apprenticeship growth is something that our young people are connected to is critically important. how we're building bridges across our education, our K-12, our higher education, our workforce systems, our youth serving systems, particularly students that have been out of school for some time, how we bring these pieces together in the context of really making apprenticeship the gold standard for workforce development and post-secondary opportunity is something that this administration has also led on putting new flexibilities and resources out there to do, that the people who will be participating in this center really are, we're going to work together to take advantage of. And above all, I want to focus on the critical role of states, because that is a core lever that this center focuses on. States can lead on this. They are ones that have been leading for years. They have their hands on the different systems that serve our young people and are leading on the effort to really build out apprenticeship programs and support their growth, working in close partnership with industry to really expand it across sectors. States can be leaders. They are leaders in this space. And that is why the center focuses on bringing this leadership forward and bringing these pieces together to really grow our national apprenticeship system. The interest in being a part of this center across states, I want to recognize, was broad-based. And while unfortunately we cannot award all of the grants and support to all states through this, I do want to recognize to every state who applied, you are a part of this movement. Does not reflect on the fact that you did not have exciting strategies underway. And now is not the time to take off the foot off the gas in the drive to 1 million. And we look forward to the different ways that we can support you in that effort as the center and as a national partnership over time. I want to also recognize that I am fortunate to speak on this call on behalf of not just CareerWise, but really importantly, a broad base of partners across this country that have made this possible. I want to give shout out and deep gratitude to the American Institutes for Research, Upskill America, and the Aspen Institute, Jobs for the Future, New America, and the Partnership to Advance Youth Apprenticeship, and the Urban Institute, who will all be a part of really helping these states take this work to the next level. Their expertise, their reach, the be able to serve as backbones for action, all are critical for what comes next. Most importantly, I want to recognize the leaders at the U.S. Department of Labor for their generous support for this center, for the vision for how we can make this happen and really support registered apprenticeship sponsors, our education leaders, our workforce leaders to come together and really open up the opportunities and the access, and most importantly, support the growth of apprenticeship by getting more young people into this system. Could not be happening without their leadership and without you. And I also want to recognize our other core partner in this, the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. You'll hear from both the leaders at the U.S. Department of Labor and the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. Colorado itself has been at the vanguard of this work now for the better part of a decade. I want to recognize their leadership, their support in this effort, and really stepping up to the plate to work in this community of states to really kind of craft what is possible for the future and where this movement goes. Today, the main purpose is we will be announcing the 10 states that will be an initial part of this center to lead this work. These states represent a geography of a movement. They are very much proof that we can move beyond pilots, that is beyond experimentation, to how we embed apprenticeship into our youth serving systems and how we engage more youth in the growth of these critical industries across the country to support registered apprenticeship expansion and the push to 1 million. The center exists to drive scale. It brings together funding, expertise, sharing of best practices, focused effort to build a shared infrastructure that cuts across systems and breaks down silos and leverages new flexibilities to make it happen. All again in this drive to scale, not just towards 1 million apprenticeships, that's 1 million transformative launchpad opportunities for young people across this country. That, I promise, is enough from me. I am excited about this work, but there are so many other passionate people that you have come here to hear from today. And so again, and huge thanks to the leaders that have made all this happen. Please join me in welcoming Megan Baird from the U.S. Department of Labor and the Office of Apprenticeship, and Joe Barella from the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. I want to welcome you both to the screen and ask you each to share a few words. Megan, could you speak a little bit to the national vision and the opportunity you see with the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy National Apprenticeship Week. It is truly a pleasure to be here with this group of leaders, innovators, registered apprenticeship champions, and apparently the 1 millionth apprentice that Brent mentioned. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support in hitting our goal. Your presence today speaks volumes about your shared commitment to expanding registered apprenticeship and helping to build a stronger American workforce. And today, on the fifth day of National Apprenticeship Week, with its theme of Youth Pathways to Registered Apprenticeship, it's an opportunity to highlight the need and corresponding efforts to increase access to registered apprenticeship opportunities for youth and young adults so that they too can benefit from this proven earn and learn model. And this work is grounded in both the President's Executive Order on Advancing AI Education for America's Youth and the Executive Order on Preparing Americans for High-Paying Skilled Trades Jobs of the Future, which makes registered apprenticeship the cornerstone of the administration's workforce strategy. And as Brett mentioned, sets a clear goal to meet and exceed 1 million active apprentices nationwide. And this goal is not just a goal for the Department of Labor, and frankly, it was not meant to be. This is a goal for all of us to help achieve, because at the end of the day, the outcome is one that benefits our country, our communities, and where employers get the skilled talent they need to thrive, and individuals get access to no-cost or low-cost training and mortgage-paying jobs. And there are several efforts from the federal level that we are going to implement to help meet this goal. So the first is removing barriers that limit employer interest in registered apprenticeship and promoting the flexibility. The second is leveraging federal funding for apprenticeship growth. I know you've seen funding coming from the Department of Labor, and then also registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship to registered apprenticeship called out in other federal agency investments as well. The third is realigning workforce and education systems around apprenticeship. The only way we will get to 1 million is to ensure that we are doing system alignment across the workforce, education, and registered apprenticeship systems. And then lastly, increasing public awareness around registered apprenticeship and actively promoting this proven model to employers and potential apprentices. And every one of these actions will help us to not only reach 1 million apprentices, but build a system capable of sustained growth. And we are not just chasing a milestone here, we are building the future of America's workforce. And that is why today's event is so important. Today's event is a powerful affirmation of what registered apprenticeship represents: a proven high-quality earn and learn model that continues to build the skilled workforce of our nation's needs, and an opportunity to ensure that as we grow our national apprenticeship system, we commit to ensuring these life-changing apprenticeship opportunities while also growing and expanding for youth and young adults so that they too can benefit from them. And it is critical that we focus our shared efforts, both at the federal and state level, on creating these opportunities for youth. As Brent mentioned, you as state leaders really are at the forefront of driving these opportunities and having the impact on your local communities. At the federal level, we are here to help you be successful in doing that. And employers across many industries are facing workforce challenges and need skilled talent. And at the same time, young people are looking for affordable, practical pathways into good careers. And I really want to emphasize the careers piece here. We are helping not just to find jobs, but careers for youth and young adults. And we know that registered apprenticeship can deliver on this through a proven earn and learn model that allows youth to gain paid experience, develop in-demand skills, and earn recognized credentials. And expanding these opportunities can strengthen our workforce, improve economic mobility, and connect more young people to high-quality jobs. And that is why the Department of Labor funded a partnership with the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, a leading innovator in growing registered apprenticeship opportunities for youth, to establish the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center. This center, spearheaded by CareerWise and working in close partnership with the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, serves as a national hub to support the development of partnerships, infrastructure, innovative tools, and national solutions to expand and enhance high-quality, sustainable registered apprenticeship programs and system for youth nationwide. And through this center, Colorado will lead efforts to scale registered apprenticeship opportunities for youth across the nation. And as a result of those efforts, the center will help the administration deliver on its commitment to expanding, protecting, and strengthening registered apprenticeship, including our shared goal of 1 million active apprentices, while also ensuring that youth and young adults are not left out of the workforce and that they too have access to these opportunities nationwide. I am excited for the work this team has already accomplished and for what I know is to come, especially after the announcements that will be made during today's event. And I also wanted to say, this is my last National Apprenticeship event of this week, and I could not be more honored to be ending my long but fulfilling week with Colorado and CareerWise. I want to thank them both for letting me join you today and for our continued partnership going forward. I'm very excited to see the work that comes out of the center, to see the work that you all do as state leaders to truly change lives and make this an opportunity for everybody that is willing and capable of doing so. Thank you very much for the time today. And I'm going to turn things over to Joe Barilla, who is leading Colorado's innovative efforts to expand registered apprenticeship for youth and young adults.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Brent. I'm so excited to be a part of this today. It's been a long time coming. The commitment from the U.S. Department of Labor and the Trump administration to reaching the 1 million apprenticeship goal is a powerful national vision. We are immensely proud that the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment is investing alongside USDOL and partnering with CareerWise to make the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center possible. What you are hearing today is not theoretical. It is a movement already generating significant state-level momentum. Since Colorado became a state apprenticeship agency in 2003, we've been a lead innovator and proud partner in registered apprenticeships. We've moved beyond pilot programs and built a nation-leading apprenticeship ecosystem for youth, largely in partnership with CareerWise. We are operating a comprehensive, scalable system that fundamentally is changing how our state develops talent and addresses the workforce crisis. This established success is the foundation upon which the center is built. The true power of this work is that it is grounded locally. Our success is seen in Colorado communities where employers are filling critical talent gaps and young people are starting high-value careers debt-free. Colorado's apprenticeships ecosystem is more than just a successful story for us. It serves as a powerful model. It demonstrates the necessary infrastructure for building state-by-state apprenticeship ecosystems across the country, which the center is designed to support. This is not just an announcement. This is a signal that the work is already underway. The launch of the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center is opening momentum of a historic national movement built on proven local success. For us in Colorado, the work has already begun. Our state has shown the way, and now through the center, we'll be joining together with CareerWise, the 10 selected states and partners nationwide to hit our goal of 1 million apprentices. The future of work has a blueprint, and it starts right here, right now. Brent?
Joe, Megan, I should say, Director Barella, Administrator Baird, thank you both so much. And thank you for those framing remarks and I think the exciting vision you have both cast for this work. And thank you both for your leadership over many years to support improving opportunities and expanding opportunities and connecting education workforce with our industry partners through registered apprenticeship. Could not be a better set of visionaries to help power this work and committed folks that have been pushing at this for some time. So we are incredibly fortunate for your leadership, and we are incredibly fortunate to also have innovative folks like yourselves at the table to really build this first of a kind center. I want to say a few words about the center and then get to the very exciting part of it. We have been focused for some time on piloting and demonstrating strong apprenticeship programs and pathways that connect youth right into registered apprenticeships. The evidence, as I mentioned, has been built. Tools and resources have been developed. I think incredible proof points about how our systems, both in education, workforce, and of course, registered apprenticeship itself, can better work together to support the outcomes. Now is an incredible moment for states to really kind of bring those together and advance it to a new phase that meets needs across a number of critical sectors. The center itself is a center of excellence. That means it is there to work alongside other investments, partners, and systems to bring them together and achieve a shared goal, moving from promising programs to really the scalable infrastructure that's necessary for connecting at writ large young people ages 16 to 26 to registered apprenticeship opportunities. This is about infrastructure building, but it is also about delivering on the outcome of seeing more young people in our apprenticeship system thriving, and as Administrator Baird said, connected to careers, not just jobs, not as a separate and apart from earning the end value the in-demand credentials across our country, but complementing and strengthening them through real-world experience using the latest technologies on the cutting edge of businesses, small and large, across America, in need of access to a young, thriving, and prepared workforce. What each state is going to participate in through the activities of this center is really a strong community of leadership. They will receive customized support across this partnership that you have heard and seen from today to really advance their system building strategies, to develop plans that link apprenticeship to youth serving systems, both in and out of school, to drive scale. There will be a robust community of practice, and yes, they will receive some funding as well to support that work. Most importantly, they are going to engage with a broader community of efforts and industry mobilization efforts that are really targeted on how do we get more employers and industry at the table and making sure that we're leveraging the infrastructure of our youth serving systems to drive that growth. Expanding high quality registered apprenticeship opportunities for youth is transformative. If built the right way, it can be sustainable. And I think the support through the center is really driving to that scale goal by leveraging resources at the state and federal level to exist, to build sustainable ecosystems that leverage significant private investment, which is a core component of what makes the registered apprenticeship model work. They will be sharing best practices beyond that direct community. The job of the center is to build a bigger narrative too about how registered apprenticeship transforms the lives of young people. So in addition to the deep work in those states, you'll be seeing a lot of cross work across them. You'll be seeing a lot of important views and case studies, but more importantly, stories of success of the individuals, the employers, and most importantly, in this moment right now, the young people that benefit from these types of opportunities that inspire us to act differently on their behalf through the really groundbreaking apprenticeship model that is primed for scale. That is the most important transition I am now going to make, is that at the end of the day, this movement is built on those real stories. The center will continue to aggregate and share as the states are doing that hard tinkering across their systems to drive scale. The impact is best understood through the lens of young people themselves. So I want you to join me now in welcoming Yumna Ali to share her story. She is an apprentice at the Denver International Airport. For those of you that fly across the country, you may pass it by quite a bit. It's a great place for a layover, but more importantly, it's a great place to visit in the great state of Colorado. She is a part of the Global Communications and Marketing Division at the airport. She did a rotation every 6 months through customer experience, customer service, marketing, and communication. She's seen all aspects of what makes that airport that critical hub for both economic development as well as the country's own logistics and transportation systems work. She recently completed her Global Reach intern at Zio, supporting global connectivity initiatives for carriers, cloud innovators, and financial institutions, while expanding her experience in international project management. This is where it gets really interesting. She has done all of this, and she is just a junior at Colorado College in Business, Economics, and Society. So, with that, enough from me. Yumna, please join us on screen and share a little bit about your story and your experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brent, for the introduction, and good morning or good afternoon today, everyone. My name is Yumna Ali, and it's an incredible honor to be taking part of this event and sharing a little bit of my story with you. My story began the spring of my sophomore year of high school when I received an email from my career counselor with an opportunity to apply to an apprenticeship. At this point, I knew that I wanted real-world experience, but I wasn't sure where to get it. When I saw the apprenticeship opportunity come up, it seemed to me like this was a great chance to build my professional toolkit and get experience within the corporate world to start building those unique skills that I wouldn't have received from high school. Like Brent said, at DIA, I was embedded within the global communications and marketing department, rotating every 6 months across teams like customer service, customer experience, marketing, communications, and arts and events. During my apprenticeship, I learned skills that you don't simply get in a classroom. Not only did I improve my soft skills like time management, communication, critical thinking, and problem solving, but I was able to build technical skills such as working in Microsoft Office, reading reports, and completing projects that made a real impact to the organization. I was able to discover what I'm actually passionate about, which stemmed along the lines of strategic thinking, creative problem solving, and leadership. And this especially matters for the future because according to an article published January of this year by Forbes, 35% of entry-level positions on LinkedIn require years of prior relevant work experience, with some positions requiring up to 5 years. And in some specific industries like software or IT, more than 60% of entry-level jobs require 3+ years of experience. And we're talking about entry-level jobs here. Because of my apprenticeship, I already have 3 years of real-world experience before I even graduate college. In fact, since graduating from my apprenticeship in August of 2024, I now have 5 years of real-life work experience by participating in internships while being a junior in college. I've already done several internships within the nonprofit sector, finance, and telecom, and I've served on the PIA Youth Council with New America for 2 years now. And within every opportunity that I take, my apprenticeship has meant that I was a step ahead from day one. Beyond the resume, I've also built my professional network inside one of the largest airports in the country with mentors, references, and a pathway back if I choose it. In other words, apprenticeships give the next generation the chance to enter the workforce with real skills, real experience, and real connections before they ever graduate. It doesn't just prepare young people for a job, it prepares them for a career and gives them the confidence to go after it. If you would like to further connect or have a conversation with me, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Yumna. And I would say I think you're gonna have a lot more people in that network soon from what you've shared. We've all learned lessons in our career through our experience as well that sometimes you leave the most important things to the most capable people. So I'm actually going to ask you to stick around and why don't you go ahead and for all of us today, announce the 10 states who are going to be leading this work over the course of the center.
Awesome. So it's now my honor to announce the 10 selected states to be part of this program. All right. Let's see. Perfect. Number 1, Alabama, Arizona, Kansas, Maine, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Ohio, Tennessee, Utah, and Virginia.
Thank you so much for that. Each one of those states has an airport or a few of them. So I'm hoping as well that from hearing about the exciting folks that were a part of the work in DI at Denver International Airport to create this opportunity and really bring you in and be a part of this incredible experience of apprenticeship. I hope they all heard the message as well that in those states, I hope all those state leaders will be getting phone calls from their airports well. Yumna, thank you. I appreciate your time. I just appreciate your story. And it is really the reason we're all here. So thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for carrying the most important message so well for us all. So now that we've been able to point out who's been a part of this, thanks to a little bit of embargoed elegance, we've actually have a couple of our state leaders here who are from some of these selected states to share a few words. I want you to hear directly from them about why they chose to get involved and put their hat into this effort. So please welcome Denise Thomas. She's the Commissioner of the Department of Labor and Workforce Development from the great state of Tennessee, and Laura Fortman, the Commissioner from the Maine Department of Labor in the Great North. Could each of you just share a few words about, why in particular is your state ready to kind of lead to the next phase of this work and brought you to the application, but also what are you most excited about of being a part of this center? And Denise, maybe I'll start with you.
Thank you, Brent. Listen, Tennessee is so excited to be a part of this. Joining this Future Ready Apprenticeship Center builds directly on what we think our state does well, which is connecting education to real careers and supporting a strong workforce. It gives students and others a faster pathway to opportunity. So instead of wondering how classroom training translates into a real job, students will gain hands-on experience, industry credentials, and as Yumna mentioned, real connection with employers. This means that folks can graduate with more than just a diploma, but they have direction and they have momentum. Secondly, this strengthens Tennessee's economy. Employers across our state, from advanced manufacturing to healthcare to technology to our airports, need more skilled workers. Apprenticeship centers allow us to get the expertise we need to ensure there's a reliable pipeline of talent that's trained to meet those exact needs. This helps Tennessee businesses spend less time searching for workers and more time growing their workforce, which benefits entire communities. Thirdly, this opens more doors for more people. Not everybody wants a traditional four-year path, and that's quite okay. Apprenticeship provides a high-quality, respected alternative where individuals can earn while they learn, avoid heavy debt, and build strong, meaningful, well-paying careers. Finally, and most importantly, this keeps Tennessee competitive. States that invest strongly in workforce innovation attract more businesses and create more opportunities for their citizens. This Future Ready Apprenticeship Center has sent a signal that Tennessee is already thinking ahead, preparing not just for today's job, but for tomorrow's economy. This is about aligning education, industry, and opportunity in a way that benefits everyone, our young people, our employers, and every Tennessean. And we are so excited to take this journey. Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas, thank you. All right, you set the bar high. Laura, share a little bit about why this is so important for young Mainers.
That's why I really hate following Denise. In Maine, we are also very, very excited to be part of the Future Ready Apprenticeship Center. And for us, this was an opportunity to bring together many of the pilots and strategies that we've been engaged in over the past 7 years in the Mills administration. We think it's an opportunity for our state, but more importantly, for our people here. As some of you may know, Maine is the oldest state in the country, um, and uh, and employers across all sectors have been saying that they need skilled workers. At the same time, our young people have been struggling to find their path in this economy. They need an easier way to identify a place for themselves here. And our communities are feeling that disconnect as well. They want more people to stay here, build their lives here, and thrive. And this is where connecting all of those dots around apprenticeship really come into play. We're working to identify ways to make it easier for young people in Maine to see their future here, to understand how they can move from school to career without hitting dead ends along the way. And we're committed to building a system where those pathways are clearer and more connected, where education and work are not separate tracks, but part of the same journey, where a student can earn, learn, and keep moving forward. And we're also using this to build on other initiatives across the system. How do we tie in the support services available in WIOA? How do we really build on some of the other initiatives that are happening in our Department of Education? Apprenticeship has been a foundational strategy for us because it's so practical. It connects people to real jobs, real wages, and real skills. And for employers, it creates that workforce pipeline that they can rely on. And we've been expanding it beyond the traditional occupations of construction to healthcare, education, the public sector, and defense-related activities. These are sectors that keep our communities going, and we're doing this at a time when work itself is changing. We're facing challenges around AI, automation, new technologies. They're reshaping jobs across industries, and it's making it even more important that we build systems where people can engage and continue to learn and adapt. In addition to all of that, we're a rural state, as several other states are who are on this call. So we know what works in one part of our state may not, we may need slightly different solutions in other parts of the state. So part of our focus is to make sure that there's opportunity statewide, no matter where people are, not just in a few places. And echoing what Denise was saying, one of the biggest lessons is that we've learned is it only works if we're all doing it together. Employers, educators, young people, their parents, and government. We all have a role to play, and no one can solve this on their own. And we're thrilled to be part of this collaborative national effort. So thank you.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Denise, as well. Could not be happier to be partnering with two incredible workforce leaders in this country, really driving their states and their systems forward. And I want to recognize from one end of the Appalachian Range up in Maine down to the other in Tennessee. It really shows that states with diverse regions, diverse economies are all in on this effort. And I think you both spoke to, I know you were selected because of the ambitions of your plan, the reaches of apprenticeship opportunities growing in the trades and healthcare, and also the linkages to these really critical initiatives, whether that's the next generation nuclear power and infrastructure in Tennessee or shipbuilding in Maine. Really, how you are seeing apprenticeship and youth pathways into apprenticeship as core to the kind of frontier economic development is a big reason why we are happy to have you at the table. So thank you both. Look forward to working deeply with you, as I know many of us are on this call in the years to come. Thanks for joining us today, Laura and Denise. So with that, I want to bring us home here with one of the most important perspectives on the center and its work. You can't have apprenticeships without industry. You can't have apprenticeships without employers saying yes. And so at the end of the day, while the resources and the efforts of this initiative are definitely focused on supporting state leadership and leveraging our public systems, existing federal state investments to build that infrastructure for apprenticeship, we have to think deeply about what that means for how we engage and mobilize industry sectors. The perspective of employers and industry and labor partners for years who have supported registered apprenticeship programs are going to be at the forefront of how we really get to 1 million. And so I'm really excited today on what has been a very busy National Apprenticeship Week to welcome Dan Sirota, the Vice President of Government and Public Affairs at Aon, a really vanguard leader in apprenticeship movement in the country for years now. Just to share a few words, Dan, about from the private sector perspective, why is the work of not only apprenticeship expansion, but how we get more young people in those ages 16 to 26 connected to these opportunities sooner? Could you share a few words about what this looks like from your perspective and why the work of this center will be valuable for yourself, but also private sector partners across the country?
Look, well, first off, congratulations to all the 10 states that received it. I think it's phenomenal that apprenticeship is still at the forefront and the important work that's happening. You know, when we started in 2016 as Aon 10 years ago, we did not think this was going to be as big as it is for our organization. We were worried. What could go wrong bringing 18-year-olds into the private sector when you were always hiring four-year institution students into our company, and actually bridging that gap and opportunity to bring in an associate's degree for growth. And what I tell people across the country around the employer side of it is to take that jump to look into your workforce and to see how to make this work, because in the end, the ROI is there. The business case is there to being able to move forward. And it's important for employers to see that data, but also see the broader collaboration of buy-in from states to continue to invest into this system. The more ways that we can continue to invest in this, create this as an opportunity of growth, but also sectoral partnerships, right? Bringing the sectors together to think about this for the future is critical. And Brent, I'll point to your intro remarks around AI, right? We're in this moment where we're seeing every other day eliminations of roles because of this movement. We have to change that narrative. It's got to be about the early careers aspect of innovation and growth, and really stepping into the forefront of opportunity of training our individuals to be able to do the jobs of the future. And I think this center is going to be a key part and driver of really navigating that for states moving forward.
Thank you, Dan. And just to kind of close out, what advice do you have for the state leaders out there for how they should be, bringing the exciting news to industry leaders and employers in their states about the potential of this work? What advice of what they need to tell to their employer and industry community?
Look, it's all about collaboration. It's all about the easy button, right? You have to make it easy for the employers to look at this and seamless, and really create this as a broader collaboration. And Brent, the more ways you can get these apprentices to tell their story, right? To really emphasize on what this means for them. For some of them, this is life-changing Generations haven't had an opportunity to be able to embed themselves into this type of work. And the more ways that we can really highlight the work and the stories of this is critical. And states have that opportunity to really elevate that. Because I think the narrative is really important for employers to understand that they can do it. And there is ways to make it easy. You just have to be bought in and really think long term around your workforce.
Dan, thank you for your leadership on that. Thank you for that. I think it's really practical and important advice early and often for these states. Thank you for you and Aon's incredible leadership in this field for the past 10 years, and looking forward to the next 10 and working with you guys, particularly at this critical moment of technological change. And couldn't have said it better myself. How we reshape early careers, apprenticeship, it looks a heck of a lot like how that has to be done. So thanks so much for your time, Dan. And again, thank you for you and Aon's leadership on these issues.
Absolutely.
So we're getting up close to time here, and I want to round us out. This has been a quick snapshot of what people will be seeing from this center over time. You will hear the stories of success and what Yumna shared about her life, her trajectory. As Dan said, one of the most strongest narratives that we have to support employer engagement in our registered apprenticeship system, and also talk to parents and students and communities across this country about why it's important, doesn't come from us, doesn't come from any organizations on this screen. It comes from the voices of the young people whose life has been transformed. And there's been 10 years plus of experience across this country of those stories. This center hopes to see a million more of them over time. So you will hear these stories of success. Most importantly, you will see state leaders stepping up to the plate, really thinking ambitious about how apprenticeship is not something that happens, growth isn't something that happens with an office down the hall, but it's a really central workforce economic development and education strategy for their states to how they meet the needs of industries of the future and how they really generate a new basis for opportunity for young people to pursue their careers and what they want to do early and on to shape that launchpad decade of ages 16 to 26 that means so much in terms of what you earn, what experiences you have, the networks you build, not just for the next several years, but for decades. Reshaping those early career outcomes for apprenticeship will be central to what these states are working on by bringing these systems together. And hopefully you've gotten a snapshot of the type of ways that states will be digging in, building these plans, deploying these efforts over the next several years through the center. And most importantly, too, you heard a voice particularly of the employer space. Industry itself is going to be at the table, both within states and also cross-sector ways through this effort. How these models of youth access to apprenticeship look in the trades, in manufacturing, in healthcare, even in our public agencies, whether those are in big cities or rural communities. I think that's a really critical part of how we hope to use the activity of these centers. No state is building from scratch, but no sector is designing apprenticeship also just out of the box itself. We're giving employers the intermediary strategy, the easy button, but we're letting them lead on design. And I think that's really important for the next phase of this work, is that how these pathways for youth and apprenticeship, they don't have to look all the same by sector, but they can all create the same type of opportunity and really create the kind of broad-based system that those sectors really need to grow the next generation of talent. This has been a short snapshot of that. I want to just say, first and foremost, a huge congratulations to the 10 states, plus our great partners in Colorado that have led this effort, that will be a part of this work, again, over the next several years. This is a multi-year effort as part of this center. We are excited to get the work started with you, and we are going to be in touch soon with a number of next steps. For everyone else, I understand that for all sometimes the excitement of the 10 you pick, there's others that are disappointed. But I want to be very clear, there is roles for you in this. Just because you were not picked for the center does not mean that you are a leader in this space. It does not mean that your employers, your industry, your pilots are not hugely informative for what happens in the work forward. There are many ways to partner with the work of this center over the time. And I extend that not just to other states, I extend that to the universe of community colleges, K-12 leaders, workforce organizations, intermediaries, philanthropic organizations, and of course, a number of different youth serving organizations that really recognize that if registered apprenticeship is the gold standard for workforce development, we owe our young people nothing less than the gold standard in terms of helping them transition to their future and into the labor market. So please stay engaged. Please stay excited about this work. And I could not have thought of a better way to certainly close out National Apprenticeship Week than announcing this. The movement itself is something that we are excited to support through this work. It is much more broad-based, but please stay connected. This is not something we want to happen in a silo in a box, and we really look forward to sharing what we learn, to taking and learning from the field, and creating a base that we can all be a part of for what's next. So just to close, thank you again to the U.S. Department of Labor, the leadership, for really seeing the vision of what's important and really putting out a big call to action of why young people are central to that 1 million goal. Thank you to the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment for really stepping up to the plate for years, but also stepping up to the plate to help lead this center and really take this effort. And most importantly, we are incredibly grateful that CareerWise and this whole set of national partners that I shared on the front end will be a part of this work. Please stay with us, and please continue to work to grow the Apprenticeship America movement. We are proud to be a part of it. Happy National Apprenticeship Week, all. Have a good one.